Hi there, families. Well, today we are going to focus on hard feelings and how we can release them. Through our project today, we are going to transform anger. Oftentimes, when we feel a lot of anger in our lives, it's because some difficult things, maybe bad things, are happening in our lives or in our families, and it can feel scary. We can feel like we don't have any control over what's happening, and that can lead to feeling pretty angry. Anger is one of those emotions, like every emotion, that we all experience at some points in our lives. And like all emotions, anger is completely normal to feel, and it's healthy to experience it, and sometimes even important to feel it at times. But if we carry around too much of it, or if we are focused too much on our feelings of anger, it can lead to us feeling pretty bad, and it can be overwhelming. And sometimes we then release it in ways that aren't healthy, maybe even sometimes they're destructive, and that's no good. So, what can we do with our anger? Well, we can practice healthy ways of expressing it and exploring it. And in doing that, we can actually feel lighter. We can release some of it, and it can end up helping us to feel better and helping us to feel like we have more control over things in our lives. And that makes us feel stronger. So, today, I hope you will join me in experiencing some feelings of anger and then also having the experience of releasing and letting go of some of it through making art together. Okay, to get started, all you'll need is a simple piece of paper and something to add color. So markers, crayons, color pencil, oil pastel, your choice. And I want you to start by allowing yourself to focus on those feelings of anger or frustration, just negative feelings that you might be experiencing. And just sit with those for a second and ask yourself, if you were to give those feelings a color, what colors would they be? And then go to your colors and choose a few that remind you of those hard feelings. And all I want you to do is to take your colors and put them on the paper however feels right, allowing yourself to put anger on the paper. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You just want to use those colors and move on your paper in a way that feels like you are releasing some of those feelings, like you are getting them out with the marks and the colors that you're using. Your goal is just to fill up the paper with those feelings. Now you may find, as you are working and focusing on these feelings, that maybe some words are coming to mind. Maybe you're starting to think about the things in your life that are making you feel anger and frustration, worry. And maybe it would feel good to you to put those things down on this paper too. So feel free to just write them however they come. Might be full sentences, might be words, maybe some questions come to mind. You may find as you are focused on these words and thoughts that some ugly words maybe come up. Maybe words you would never really say, but certainly things that you're thinking and feeling. And I want you to feel free to write those things down too. You know, oftentimes when we feel angry, it's not pretty. It's ugly. It feels ugly. And this is your safe space to put your anger down and to release it in whatever way feels good to you. So I'm not going to write a bunch of ugly words on here, but I want you to feel like you can do that if that would feel good and right to you. Once you have filled your paper up, maybe some new colors are coming to mind that you want to use. I want you to put your colors to the side, and then I want you to place your hands on this paper of anger, and I just want you to crumple it. That's right, just crumple it up, squeeze it, press it, allow yourself to feel that anger through your hands as you're crumpling and pressing and squeezing. Then you can open it up and crumple it again. Again, you are just allowing yourself to put that energy into this paper. All that energy that you've been storing in your muscles, in your brain, and your heart, and you are just getting it out through this paper. When you're done crumpling, now I want you to tear it. Just rip it up. Small pieces, bigger pieces. You don't care what it looks like. You're just tearing and ripping and telling yourself that as you're doing that, you are releasing more and more of this anger and negativity that you're holding inside of you. Allow yourself to enjoy the feeling of tearing and destroying in a healthy way your anger. Now, after you've torn that paper up, you may find that you still got some more energy to burn. So now I want you to, if you have it, grab some colored pieces of paper. Again, you can choose colors that remind you of those feelings. If you don't have colored paper, maybe choose some magazine paper, wrapping paper, anything you have with some color on it at home. And then take those and do the same thing. You're going to crumple and tear. And just keep ripping and ripping until you feel like you've gotten a lot of those feelings out. Okay, deep breath there for me. So now you're sitting with a large pile of some hard feelings in front of you. You'll notice they feel a lot lighter now that they're torn up into small pieces. And what I want you to do with this pile is to take about half of it and just toss it away. Throw it to the side. Tell yourself you don't need it. Now I know, in reality, we can't just toss aside all of our angry feelings when we release them. Sometimes they stay with us, some of it. And so that's okay. We're going to acknowledge that. And we're going to do something with those leftover feelings of anger right now through art. So set those a little bit to the side, and I want you to find another piece of paper and a glue stick. And what you're going to do now is look at all those pieces and maybe tear them up further if you need to. And you are going to collage an image of your choosing, something maybe that will help you to feel more calm and relaxed, maybe something that lifts you up, like a smiling face or a sunset, or maybe it's something that is a symbol that could remind you of feeling free and light, transformed, like a butterfly or a bird. Or maybe you just want to play around with taking pieces and gluing them wherever they feel right to you. So glue and just sort of laying them down on the paper as you go. Again, no right or wrong way to do this. You are just playing around with creating an image that feels good to you. For me, I think I'm going to focus on a night sky. I know when I've had a really particularly rough day or I'm feeling pretty down in the dumps, it can feel good to me to sit outside at night and look up at the moon and the stars. And that often helps me to relax and actually helps me to feel like maybe my problems aren't quite as big as they're feeling to me. So I'm going to just real simply create a moon shape here in the center and some stars. And I'm going to use that as the basis for my collage. And then I'm just going to start filling in with the pieces that I have ripped and torn. You can tell yourself, allow yourself to tear these pieces into smaller pieces, whatever you need. This is for you, and it's your design, and now you have the control, and you can make this image and make these pieces fit however you want. As you're working on your collage, I encourage you to think about your energy and be aware of consciously, that means on purpose, slowing yourself down. While you were tearing and ripping these pieces up, you likely raised your heart rate. Your breathing changed. Maybe it became more rapid. And that happens when we're angry. So now I want you to try to intentionally slow yourself down. Take some deep breaths as you work. Don't feel the need to rush. Maybe even shrug your shoulders and purposely stretch every now and then as you're working on your collage. Again, just helping yourself to calm and relax your mind and your body as you work. And you're just going to keep working on this collage until it feels finished and until you've used up as many of these leftover pieces of anger that you feel like you need now to make your calm and relaxed image. Once you've used up as many of your torn pieces that you want to use to complete your design, then you can feel free to add more to it if you'd like, using maybe whatever colors you have with you. I know for me, as I'm looking at my design, I decided I wanted to add some yellow. That's like a hopeful color to me, so I'm going to add a few shooting stars to my night sky, and I think that's going to help me to feel even more hopeful and positive. In my image. But you can use your markers and crayons or whatever you got in whatever way feels right to you to complete your image. I think I might even do one last sweep of color using a little bit of watercolor, and I'm just going to kind of bring out that night sky even more, remind myself even more of this place where I like to be, and that helps me feel more calm and at peace and less controlled by my anger. So this is my finished piece. I ended up adding a little bit more color to the background. And one thing that I noticed in doing this is that I didn't want to use as many pieces as I set aside for my collage. I actually was able to let go of more of my anger than I expected. So I hope you can see by doing this how we got a chance to practice releasing some of our angry feelings. We don't have to be controlled by anger and negativity. Feeling it all is important, but it's also important to be able to release anger and to let go of some of it so that you can feel lighter and freer and just better in general, and maybe even stronger. I hope that your artwork can remind you of all of that. Take good care of yourselves, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.